So I don't have every model here, but I just kind of give you guys a quick rundown on the various types of intro models that we have out today. We have the Onyx, we have the Nexus, we have the Hybrid, we have the Night Ranger, and we have the Black Widow series. Just to give you a quick overview, the Onyx being one of our newest, its popularity is driven definitely through its price point. It starts at $99. It's a great all-around stick for pretty much all types of fishery in our waters. Fluke, sea bass, blackfish, even striped bass. Then we move on to the Nexus series that I actually do not have over here, but the Nexus is one of our most popular rods for the past couple of years. Another great all-around stick that can virtually do anything that you're trying to do out in our waters. Then we jump up to the Hybrid series. So this is where we get a shift in the carbon fiber technology that we use in our blanks. Between the Hybrid and then the Night Ranger, both of these series use nanocarbon technology. But in the Night Ranger, there is higher nanocarbon content in here that is used to make the blank. In the Night Ranger, as if you've ever held one, you'll notice the first thing is how light the actual rod is. We were able to achieve that by actually using titanium guides and premium cork. I think average weight on each model comes out to less than 4 ounces. Something else that we just put out into the market is our new Star Drag reels. It's called the Apollo. And then the Prime Reel. The Prime Reel is a great all-around bottom fishing rod. It's an open face conventional reel without a level wind. The reason why we're using the Apollo today is because it has a level wind for fluking. You know, it's a little bit more easier. You don't have to line lay your line back, you know, while you're fluking. You know, you could just focus on jigging and just reeling. The Apollo pairs perfectly with pretty much all our intro series that we have out available today. So I'm using an MK2 7.6 conventional rod with our new Apollo Star Drag size 200 reel. The Apollo is a fully CNC machined aluminum reel, carbon fiber handle with a 39mm EVA ball knob. We've seen the market really taking a liking to our ball knobs. Even though these are Japanese nanocarbon fiber rods, it has a very soft tip. So with that soft tip allows you to kind of do that slow jigging motion. So the Apollo comes in 2 sizes, a size 200 and a 300, available both in lefty and righty. The size 200 has a 5.1 to 1 gear ratio, so it's very good for just, you know, all around bottom fishing. The 300 has a 6.3 to 1. We made the bigger one more for like a slow jigging reel, like true slow pitch jigging. For slow pitch jigging, 6.3 to 1 is like the most optimal gear ratio for that type of fishing. But you know, since we do a lot of bottom fishing around our area, the smaller one, we did go with the 5.1 to 1. Max drag, 15 to 18. One thing that people will notice is, I would say most of our rods do have a very fast action tip, but it's a very parabolic rod into where it bends in the middle of the blank. And we strategically did that to avoid breakages. We know that there's a lot of high sticking going on around here. Hook sets, people really like to set the hook out here. And just, if you have a very fast action rod where it just shuts off like 30% from the tip, you know, there's no bends, and with high sticking, it's not as lenient. And by us making the rods the way we do, our warranty rate is like around 2% of all the rods that we sell. Hence why we're so lenient with our warranty program. We don't give anyone a tough time. As long as you show your proof of purchase from an authorized Jigging World dealer, you get your hands on a new one.
Beautiful. What rod length do you prefer?
For stuff like this, we're fishing in 100 feet of water right now for fluke. I prefer a 7.6 rod.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong, jigging with the 7-foot rod or shorter rod is more comfortable, but with the depth, you get a better hook set with a longer rod. So 7.6 would be the ideal conventional rig stick for out here. How
do you prefer to fight a fluke? You're dealing with those head shakes. You know, the action of the rod helps, obviously.
Well, that's the beauty of our rods. The moderate bend in our blank, it will absorb those head shakes perfectly. So there's really, with our rods, when you're hooked up, there's really nothing else you need to do than just reel.
Yep.
And when it wants to shake its head, just let them shake its head. It's not a fast action rod where it's gonna pull the hook when they're doing it, because you know it bends with the hip
It
jigs.
gives you a margin of error, some forgiveness.
Absolutely.
And it allows you to actually kind of reel through those head shakes slowly.
Definitely.
But you always want to keep, you know, obviously keep the fluke coming towards you.
Yep. So the great thing about our rods, you get one rod and you can use it for so many various applications.
There's a lot of crossover between blackfish rods and fluke rods,
Definitely.
whether it's in a jigging application or a bait application.
Definitely.
You put a rod in your hand that is built for or marketed for a specific use.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but every time it's like, all right, here's your tog jig rod. It's like,
Yeah.
but this would be awesome for this.
Yep.
This would be great for, you know, throwing jigs at sea bass and stuff like that. It's always like, I want more out of this.
Like, don't get me wrong, you know, there's technique by the people who are avid fishermen, who like what they want. They know what they want. But, you know, we're out in the market to provide fishing tackle for those people who are either just starting out or just, you know, kind of getting into it, where, you know, they don't need to invest in so many different gear for certain fishery.
I mean, the real dialed in guys, they're gonna have their spoon rod, they're gonna have their bait rod, they're gonna have their chicken rig rod, you know, they're gonna have their bucktail fluking rod. Like everything's gonna be perfectly tailored to that technique.
So one thing with our carbon fiber rods, you know, on sticks like this, we put very sensitive material in the tip so that you can detect bites. Because when you're fishing 100 feet of water, it's not the same where you feel the bites as easily in like 30, 40 feet of water.
You can't really feel it through the braid is like you can in a shallower situation.
You know, at the end of the day, the most important component on a fishing rod is the blank. So the blank we do not cheap out on. Very high quality, 100% carbon fiber material. So besides from rods, a lot of things that we've been able to produce is a bunch of rigs, whether it be for fluke, sea bass, blackfish. But obviously, since being in Nantucket, one thing that we've been able to create after, you know, being up here fishing on head boats such as the Helen H, which is a great place to start your Nantucket fluke experience. One of the things that we found out that over here, the current can start ripping, and there are instances where you need to pretty much put down 36 ounces of cannonball sinkers. And you know, it may not sound fun, but it's a necessity sometimes. And then one of the things that we noticed is that when the drift is very fast, what this is a Helen H rig. And you'll notice that on the bottom, it's like a high-low rig, but the bottom rig is a little bit towards the sinker with a long leader. With that long leader, especially when it's really scoped out, it's very enticing to the fish, and you just grab the offering. And then on the teaser, it's just your traditional teaser. Besides that, we make a whole bunch of other high-low rigs that you can use out here too as well, whether it be in bucktail, silicone skirt, mylar flash. Spoon rigs up here work very well too. So what we've been able to accomplish up until this point is we've been able to create all these different products where you can really be able to just get out and fish and really just enjoy your time out there. If we're getting technical, you're someone who likes to tie your own stuff, we make individual teasers that you can make your own high-low chicken rigs out here too as well. These are new epoxy, pretty much weightless teasers with a custom long shank hook and a very, very good grub holder that will hold your grub really well. And then this is something that we had out in the market, but we did do an upgrade with a longer shank hook with some newer colors. This is called the Fluke Candy version 2 teasers. So with the floating teasers, the reason why we made these is, especially for up here, you know, the primary bait fish is squid. Squid have a more natural flowing action rather than, you know, when you're vertical jigging, you know, rapid vertical jigging, they're not bouncing up and down like this. They're more of a slow action like this. Hence we made weightless floating teasers. So this is our new epoxy teaser that we have out and available in naked with mylar flash and bucktail in 3 different styles. So the cool thing about these new epoxy foam head teasers that are pretty much weightless is the custom long shank hook with this grub holder, where we made it perfectly so that you can put a 6-inch grub coming out at the optimal area. So once you put it in, the most annoying thing about gulp and fluke is they are known for short striking, and when short strikes happen, the Berkeley gulp tends to fall off the hook. But once you put a piece of gulp on our epoxy teasers, no matter how much the fluke short strikes, it will not come off the barb. It's on there so tight that the only way to really take it off is with a pair of pliers.